Yeah, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want us to discuss two very important issues. The first one is why the United States government is making statements to suggest that they are likely to intervene militarily in Ethiopia. The other issue I want us to discuss is the issue of what is happening in the battlefield in northern Ethiopia and whether TPLF is as close as getting to Addis Ababa as they have been insinuating through their propaganda machinery. Now, let us begin with the first one. Viewers, you will notice that recently there has been calls by very important people who are connected to the U.S. State Department and the Department of Defense, who have made calls to the effect that the United States forces, especially the Horn of Africa Command, which is tweeted in Djibouti, should intervene militarily in Ethiopia. Where are these calls happening now? It started with retired Admiral James Stavridis. Then we have got Major General William Zana of the U.S. forces in Djibouti, and they have all said that they are ready and that the U.S. should intervene militarily in Ethiopia. But why are they doing this at this point? Viewers, I can disclose to you from very highly placed sources that the government of Ethiopia, led by His Excellency Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, plans to engage directly with all forces that are currently engaged in fighting for various reasons in many parts of Ethiopia. These forces will include, but are not limited to, the Oromo Liberation Front, the faction which is currently waging an armed struggle against the Ethiopian government, and many others from Benishangul, from the Somali region, from Gabela region, and from Afar region. However, I can also confirm to you that the Ethiopian government and the Prime Minister have made it clear that they will not be inviting the Tigray People's Liberation Front in that engagement. In other words, TPLF leadership and their financiers and supporters in the West know that the rest of Ethiopia will be talking, but they will not be on the table during that discussion. This is one of the reasons why the United States is not happy with this move by the Ethiopian government, because they have all along supported the TPLF with the aim of causing a political change, a regime change in Addis Ababa, and by forcing or by imposing what we would call a change through unconstitutional means. That is the reason why, one of the reasons why the U.S. is not happy with Abiy Ahmed and his government, and this is why they are making threats, thinly veiled threats, that they will intervene so that the government can rescind this position and invite TPLF to the intended round table talks on the current situation in Ethiopia. The other reason that the United States government is making those kind of threats is that the TPLF is no longer on the offensive, ladies and gentlemen. The TPLF is on the defensive. They are losing in very many fronts, as we shall proceed in a short while to let you know. Now, this is another reason why the United States, as well as other countries such as Italy and Denmark, which are heavily aiding the TPLF, are not happy with the current battlefield situation in Ethiopia. Now, let us go to the second issue. What is happening in the battlefront and who is winning in the battlefront? Ladies and gentlemen, I am sure that you may have heard the propagandists of TPLF going around saying, oh, we have hit an Ethiopian Mi-35 helicopter. But you do not hit an Mi-35 helicopter that easily. The helicopter itself is fitted with anti-ballistics. It is not that easy to hit. At the same time, you do not hit a helicopter and then purport to have hit it and it disappeared into thin air. You would have photographs. You would have the pilots evacuating, because that helicopter has evacuation mechanism once it comes under enemy fire. So we would expect some kind of reasonableness in reporting, so that we do not have propaganda being spread around as news. Now, in the battlefield, this is what is happening. We can confirm to you that approximately 3,000 TPLF fighters have been captured in a place called Akaista. Now, unfortunately, these are mainly child soldiers. They are minors. And we have not had any voice by people like the UN bodies such as UNICEF talking about the use of children soldiers by TPLF. Viewers, we can also confirm to you that the TPLF has abandoned their dug-in positions in Bati for reasons which are unknown. This appears to be a pattern where TPLF seems to be abandoning some of their dug-in defensive positions and leaving without any explanation and for no good reason. Now, we can also tell you that for some reason, TPLF fighters seem to be abandoning Weldia city. And it is not clear why they are doing that. And aid agencies, our sources from aid agencies who are operating in Weldia have told us that the TPLF fighters seem to be leaving Weldia quietly in the dark of night, and it is not known where they are going. It is suspected that they may be going back to Tigray or moving south to beef up the positions of TPLF near Desi and Kobolcha, which are coming under heavy fighting due to the onslaught by the federal forces. Now, we can also confirm to you, and this is something we have said before, and we have seen a lot of people telling us that they know better than us. No, the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, together with the Eritrean Defense Forces, are massing forces and troops around Rama from the Eritrean side and Ticho. And the forces of ENDF seem to be entering those towns or those places from the Eritrean side. It is therefore expected that the ENDF, together with their allies, the Eritrean Defense Forces, are planning a final onslaught against the TPLF from the northern side. And this will be what we call the Hammer Anvil attack, where the regional state forces from Afar and Amhara region attack the TPLF from the south, supported by ENDF air power. And then the Eritrean Defense Forces and the Ethiopian National Defenses have with a combined front from the north, and this will likely put the TPLF on their final defense. Either they will have to retreat back into the hills west of Mekele and northwest of Mekele, or they will surrender. We can also confirm to you viewers that the TPLF lost on its attack in Yalo in Afar region. They were defeated by the Afar regional special forces, and in fact the Afar special forces did enter southern Tigray. This was even confirmed by bloggers and supporters of TPLF that Afar forces had entered South Tigray. Now, we know that also TPLF has lost control of the Lalibela-Cheralwa road, and they cannot therefore use this road to move back to Tigray. In other words, what we have is a situation where the TPLF has been encircled, and this is why the TPLF is fighting very hard to hold Gashina, because this is the only area. We have always said that Gashina is very difficult to fight in because of what we have. We have an approach that is very difficult to cause an onslaught by an invading force, because it is very easy to defend. And this corner towards, from the west towards Gashina is very difficult to dislodge TPLF snipers, and this has been difficult for the ENDF. But at the moment, there is also heavy fighting going on in a place called Karakor and Kelala. And we can also confirm that in the last 72 hours, the TPLF has been defeated in Senbate, Arba, Ayu, Lugo, Dula, Chereka, and currently there is a lot of sharing in Burka. And the TPLF is attempting a 10th attack on the city. They also need this city, Burka, very desperately, but they will not get it because it is heavily defended by the Ethiopian federal forces. Viewers, you can of course tell from this analysis that the fighting in all the fronts is not going well for TPLF, and this is why their allies in the West are getting desperate and angry, and this is why they are threatening to invade Ethiopia and support a regime change forcefully and through unconstitutional means and impose TPLF on the people of Ethiopia. This is very interesting because in a democracy you would expect the majority to be in charge. But for some reason the US thinks that the 6 million Tigrayans, who are merely 6% of the total Ethiopian population, should take charge of this country and rule and become overlords over the rest of the Ethiopian population. This situation, viewers, is totally unacceptable. Unacceptable by any means, democratically or even militarily. But that is the situation.